Good morning, welcome to a morning review on Monday the 31st of October. So on this spooky day, let's have a look at the euro dollar, and well, at the moment we're just sort of selling off back to the 4-hourly 8 at the moment. There's potential it could run a bit further at some point back to the weekly pivot, and those prior highs would be quite a reasonable buy point in this current shape of the price action. Looking at the hourly sort of gives a bit of a clearer picture of that, along with the 34, etc. So there is the potential for that. Now, any breakthrough from that level, well, I would expect further downside. Last week I was really looking for the downside a couple of times. It certainly was given lower highs, etc. But the boost on Friday afternoon, stroke evening, really saw the euro pushing up there towards its daily S3. R3. At the moment, though, I prefer to see that weekly pivot out the way because it's so close. Would review the situation in terms of a long situation. I would not go immediately long on the test of that level. I'd wait for a confirmation on the shorter time frames. But at the moment, as I say, it looks like that's a reasonable area for some support. Okay, looking at cable. Look at higher time frames, and cable's got itself into one hell of a choppy mess now, really. Friday managed to start breaking down towards Tuesday's lows, but managed to recover again, very much like the euro, but it's still in this sort of period or patch which could be transitional in terms of changing from a downward trend into possibly a bit more of a retrace and back more into this regression channel, heading back towards its 21. But to me, it's at any time it looks like it could just sort of roll over to the other side as well. Now it's already caught its weekly pivot, daily pivot, all fixed. Any sort of rally break of this trend line I put on here, I've got to be much more towards the long side, probably looking towards well, Friday's highs and beyond into the R1 there, particularly the 200 just coming in before then, which may provide some resistance. At this point, looking at this intermediate time frame, it sort of reverses on the upside potential. Now, break of the daily pivot and the sell-off, well, we could be back in for towards the S1 Friday's low sort of region. Dollar yen, well, the dollar yen, bit of a mixed old bag, but in general we're seeing this trend towards the upside, so the risk coming off in a sense, and the yen pushing back up regardless. It's through its weekly pivot, it's looking, as I say, at the moment pretty positive here. A break of these prior highs around about the 104.95 sort of area, may see it pushing up. It has got some resistance almost immediately above it, but so if you look at the 50 MA starting to push up as well, so if it can get through this 34.50 sort of region, well, then it looks a bit more bullish towards Friday's highs. Not much else to say really on the downside. If we do see it break, there is a trend line actually on the downside, which may be a relatively clearish sort of point, but it's quite steep. But if we see a break of, there we go, this trend, well, could be looking more bearish and potential for it to continue what it started Friday evening, but we'll see. Aussie dollar's back into its say playground effectively. It's into its range. It's been sitting in this sort of range for a long time. Cannot make the highs. It's pretty clear at the moment, or can't break the highs and make anything significant move up towards that side. Short term, it's really just there, kiss the weekly pivot there. Might still want to push up there and hit it properly, but it's hit the 34 and the 4-hourly, etc. So it came into some resistance at that point. Still, well, erring towards the bearish side for me at the moment, and a break of this trend line would really confirm that more so. As long as it sits up here, well, I would be keeping away from it. And finally, the Canadian dollar. Well, I'll show you what's happening to oil first, and this is okay. It's just an hourly picture, but once again we get another twist and turn in the oil saga, and it looks like there's it's becoming very difficult to make an agreement on that basis. Oil sort of gapped down a little bit through the Asian session there, not probably a massive surprise in finding a bit of a disagreement with Iran and Iraq trying to an OPEC, but at the same time, um, it's obviously putting pressure on oil, and it's falling there at the moment. So looking at the bigger picture, dailies first, and as I said, the momentum has really slipped out of this push up higher, although which makes it very difficult in terms of trying to get a decent trade. Has the potential to come back for its weekly pivot at the moment below us, but that in itself may give a buy point if it comes back to that sort of level. Very bitty at the moment. The ranges, intraday ranges, are quite messy, and when you look at it on an hourly basis, it's sort of swinging left, right, and centre. It's not the clearest of markets. It's pretty much closed its overnight gap, although it's possibly a bit more to go, and a daily pivot left to hit below. So at the moment, I possibly expect a bit more downside. Any sort of more of a shove up and break of this level here, well, Friday's lows, the R1 would be an obvious target. Okay, news-wise today, there is some news coming out today, and main focus today really, so I've got a load of odd data coming through. Yeah, of course, looking through here, we've got manufacturing PMI China, okay, at 9 o'clock, right. Really, actually, no, it's PM. There's nothing this morning, actually. It's pretty low-key data through to this morning and today, and it's the PM data at 9 p.m. this evening, which I won't be trading running through into tomorrow, so midnight-ish. Got the Bank of Japan outlooks, etc. So nothing significant today there. So we'll see how the technicals take us. That's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.